We get a lot of telephone calls at the house about passion fruit and some of the other items that we do carry, and they're interested mainly in sustainability and permaculture and the use of pesticides. Well, we don't use any pesticides here at all. We haven't used pesticides since we bought the farm, and we still have some of the original pesticides that were here in the barn when we bought the farm. So we've never used them, but what we do is we transport in the beneficial insects which eat the bad insects. The bad bugs have to expand their influence until the good bugs will come in and keep them down. And then when they eat enough of those, then they have to go find an alternate source. And our job is to find an alternate source so that they don't leave the property. So we plant flowers and we have a nectar source for them year-round to keep them on the property. Sustainability actually is a very localized version of what that farmer thinks he can work with. In other words, one farmer might have sand on his property and has very little to work with but the sand. And that's why you see a lot of grapevines. They're grown in sand. Well, you couldn't grow lemons as well as you could grow grapes. So we're on adobe, so we have a tremendous opportunity here to not only work with the soil, we can enhance it. And we can even enhance it with the things that we have. And behind me, we have a lot of chips in the soil. And what we do, instead of burning off trees, or any of the materials that come from our house, which is on 1 acre, we bring everything out here, and right now there's stumps and there's roots and that sort of thing. And we come in with a big chipper and we chip it out and then we roll it into the soil. And so that increases the nature of the soil, the texture, so that it's more permeable. When you enhance the soil to make the soil better, it becomes a carbon storage area. And this carbon storage area works through the tree. And if you can think of a tree as a lung for the earth, it literally takes in carbon dioxide, and that's what everybody's concerned with nowadays, is carbon dioxide. And so what it does, it breathes in the carbon dioxide, it splits it out, it takes the oxygen and gives it back to us as breathable clean air, and it stores the carbon in the ground. And that carbon feeds the microbiology in the ground. If you try to force an orchard to provide as much food as possible, as fast as possible, to make as much money as possible, you destroy that microbe down there. And that microbe either lives on the inside or the outside of the root, and it increases the efficiency of the root uptake. And so in other words, instead of putting on thousands and thousands of gallons of, say, phosphates, you don't have to either put on any, because it takes it right out of the soil. It's already there. And this is the kind of soil that if, say, somebody from Mexico came up, they would say, oh, you don't have to fertilize this soil. Because you don't. You just have to allow the bugs to grow within them and don't destroy them through over-fertilizing. We only take the largest and the best for the FruitGuys, and of course for our own customers. And what we do is this is other part of our idea of sustainable culture, is that we allow the smaller fruit to stay on the ground, and it fertilizes what's in. It's actually creating its own fertilizer by letting the fruit stay on the ground, and it also keeps the weeds down. 1 acre of passion fruit can do about 30,000 pounds worth of passion fruit. And each passion fruit weighs approximately 3.5 ounces. But what we've done is we've decided, because when you plant that close together, if one plant gets a problem, which they can, and it's called fusarium wilt, it will go right through that orchard, because these roots are touching or they're grafting on each other underground. And so the potential to have an infestation of fusarium wilt or something else will just literally wipe your orchard out in months. It'll go from the corner one and just spread all the way through the entire orchard that quickly, and you'll lose everything. Not only that, you've already put that fusarium into the ground. Now it's in the ground, and you've got to go in and do some chemicals and so antifungals to go in there and destroy that and start all over again, and sometimes even wait for a couple years so that you can replant. So what we've done is we've increased the spacing by 2 to almost 4 times. So we have at least half as many plants, so that those roots aren't touching as much. And so if we get a plant that looks like it has a problem, we might take it out quickly and just remove it, and it won't have an opportunity to infect the rest of the plants. Just let the plants grow naturally. And that's why we like them growing on these trees, is because it's a symbiosis. They love each other's roots. They've got a tree there that has actually broken that soil up for them already over 40 years. So they have this tree has been producing leaves for 40 years, and so the soil underneath that tree is absolutely beautiful soil to grow in. And so the vines actually reflect that almost right away, in not only their production, but their production without any kind of chemical enhancement.